In this video, we're just going to fix up that little bug that we have here. So if we pick up two items up that are different, we can obviously clear out this one by clicking, but we cannot clear out that one if this one exists. So let me show you. I pick up these two and I try to use the health. Well, obviously the health is staying there until I remove the bread, in which case they both disappear. So the issue is with how it is going through and trying to update. So if we go to our update function, we have remove item. So let's do a print string and see if this gets called. So removing item. Okay, pick up. And it is removing the item. So let's go to our remove item function. What we're doing is basically the way we're going through and trying to find the item to remove is, well, it's not quite working. So what we want to do is kind of change up how we find the item. So currently we're iterating through, and finding which, well, let me rephrase that. We're looping through all of the children of our grid. We're checking to see if the item class is valid. If it is, we want to loop through each index, each element in our actual, replicated array and see if the item classes match. If they do, we know that the item is in the inventory. So we go through, call the break on this for each loop, and simply remove it by disabling the button. So let's see where this goes through and fails. Because, well, we might have a bit of an issue. So I'm going to print out a string and just confirm that it does in fact disable the button. Or sorry, that it does not disable button. So let's call, or print out a string and do disabling. Spelled that wrong. And let's do another one called not disabling. Let's even see if we're getting this far. So pick it up, and it calls not disabling twice until I click that, and then it disables twice. But if I pick it up once, not disabling and disabling. So we're we're decrementing from here right away. That's kind of why it's working for the second time, so to speak. Problem is, we just do not, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. We are not, I don't think, getting the correct classes. So what I want to do is kind of, let's see, let me think for a second. So if the items do equal it, okay, so that's fine. Let me think. All right, I want to try printing out the name of the object or the element we are on to try to figure out, well, kind of get a rough idea and see if it's actually running. So we should hopefully see the medkit. We see food twice. Why do we see food twice? Because this should not be set to food. Okay, yeah, it's set to be the med pack, so that's correct. But for some reason, we're printing out food. So let's try to print out the display name of the item we're trying to, compare it with. Med pack. So that is working there correctly. Now, out of curiosity, what happens if I do it in the opposite direction? Okay, so that's fine. It's the same thing. So for whatever reason, we are getting food twice out of this array element. So it's as if it's going through and just flat out, well, I don't even know. Because it shouldn't be equivalent to it twice per se. So this should be running, it's going through and immediately calling the break. Let's do a print string because this should be false. Is false. So we should see, in this case, I guess food, false, false. Or is false, food. So it only printed this out once, but it printed this out twice. So does that mean we are actually running the removal code as well. Is false is true. So my guess is we're disabling the button, and because we are setting the item data to equal, well, nothing, we have the problem of just it's not able to read it. So let's uncheck where we set the item data to an empty structure and see what happens. Pick it up, click it. Is false is true. Okay, so we still have the same issue. So that in itself is not the case. All right. All right, let's try not disabling the button and see if we get it to print out the medkit. No, still prints out food. So it's like it's not iterating through. Their add item by chance messed? No, our add item wouldn't be messed up because we are also, let's see. We click the item. Okay, I think I know what's going on. So it's when we remove the item, or sorry, when we use the item, let's find it here, use item. Go through, remove the stack count, in which case we remove the item from here, which causes us to trigger, well, an update. So, but this should still, in theory, work because in our widget, we have, the item class. One of these would be medkit. We would go through, let's say the first one's food. So we pick up the food. Well, actually, it would be food. So this is going to be false. Right, no, this is going to be true because the item is in our inventory. So we're going to break and simply the complete's going to fire. And it's going to be true because the item is in our inventory. So the true is going to fire, which is going to have nothing to do with it. Then we come back around. We don't have the medkit. So this should be false. Yeah, that should be the case. So I'm going to print out a break. Okay. Go through and keep going. We'll put the string. Okay, so we print out true, so the item is in the inventory. So this could very well be this would be the food. We run back again. And this does not equal, well, no, we instead just went right to the branch. We're not even doing the second comparison. So that's where the problem very well might lie. So we can print out the array index, or sorry, not the array index, but essentially we're only firing, well, once. We don't have another, thing to compare. Actually, we might because it was firing twice. So just to save some headache, I'm going to remove this breakpoint and just do it right here at this branch instead. Okay, so we're at the branch. It's true, so we set the item to the inventory. Okay, and then we go right to complete. In which case we go through, we cast one more time, do another branch. This should be true, which it is, so we go back to the for each loop. And we check the branch, and it is false. So because it is false, we should then, no, I think we're actually going to be iterating through it one more time and call disable button, which we don't. So if the item's in the inventory is false. So let's see. I think I kind of see what's going on. So let's try, or not, let's try this. After we disable the button, we have this local variable here. We are not setting it back to false anywhere. So let's see, is this a local variable? I don't know how I can see. Oh, there it is. Duh. So it is a local variable. So we have to make sure we set this back to its default value of false. So let's click it. And after we disable the button, let's set this back to false. So now, pick up the item, click it. Okay, it's food, blah, blah, blah. So that didn't work. Why didn't... Or we'll do this after we set it to false. Or sorry, well, after we disable the button and set it to true. There we go. So now we can click it, and our items should be going away like as intended anyways. So what I'm going to do is let's see, how can we clean this up? I don't think we actually can really clean this little node section up. We're kind of forced to leave it as such. But let's get rid of our print strings. And if the item is equal to it, we want to make sure we check is in inventory. Otherwise, okay. So let's run through it, make sure it works one more time. We'll go in the opposite direction. So here we have 2, 1, 2, goes away. We have -60 hunger. And let's pick up one more. Okay, so now we have the issue of it going all the way over. And I just realized the problem I forgot to do. So let's go to our inventory item. We want to make sure we set item data back to being empty again inside of disable button. So I forgot I unchecked that. Okay, 1, 2, goes away. Use some of those. We have -60, that's just fine. We'll pick this up. Now it's back in the correct spot. We can use it again. And everything is correct. Pick these back up. Should be in the first slot, which it is. So we are good to go. Let's confirm that they can go back and forth. So I pick one up and the other. Use it, use it. Then I'm going to pick up food and then this. Use it, use it. Okay, so our inventory is good to go and working. Let's just confirm that it's fine on the client as well, which I would imagine it should be since the inventory is kind of running client-sided like this. So use it, close it, pick up another. We're good to go there. Use them both. Grab a medkit first, then that. They alternate. So we are good to go. Okay, our inventory is now complete. So, whoops, crap, I'm launching mobile. I don't know what that's actually going to do, but I guess we'll find out. So, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate what we did to fix this problem. So, as we loop through, we are setting the is in inventory variable to true. So, let's say we pick up food and then the medkit first, and then we try to use the last medkit that we have in the stack. So, what's going to happen? This class here is going to be food. So we run the for each loop. We're going to check and see if that item equals food, which it will be first because, again, they are the first things that we compare. So this branch is going to be true. So we immediately call break, which is going to fire our completed section. We're going to check if the item is in the inventory. If it is, we were doing nothing. If it wasn't, we disabled the button. So then we would come around and we would do the check for the medkit. So this would obviously be, it would be continually false. We would never set this to true because this would never run because our medkit does not exist in our inventory anymore. So it's going to loop through all the elements. Eventually it'll complete. And is in inventory would still be set to true from the previous run. So it's going to run through and it's going to disable, it's going to, it's going to fire true, which again would do nothing. So it's not going to disable the button. So to fix that, we wanted to make sure after each run, we set item is in inventory back to false. So that way it would go from false to true based upon the actual conditions appropriately. So we had to make sure we fixed that. So that was an annoying little tinker workaround kind of a deal. Mostly because I don't know why I didn't see why, that was the case in the first place. But oh well, we have it fixed now, so we are good to go. So now that our inventory is done, I want to go ahead and make in the next video one more inventory item, which is going to be our currency. So we're going to have one for cash, or I guess it'll be gold or whatever, just whatever form of currency you want. So that way we can do a couple little smaller things. Like I want to make it so we place the item in the world. when we pick it up, I want it to have like a stack size of like 250, for example. So we can alter the stack size. So 250 would be you picked up 250 coins and that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to do in the next video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a Team Deathmatch series just for Patrons, as well as you get early access to pretty much all of my videos. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord that's also linked down in the description below, and I'll try to help you out. So, I'll see you in the next video.